In this example, I'm going to show how to create a sort of a maze or like a top-down view where you've got a little character and it can move around on the screen, but there are walls on the screen that it can't move through. So this little sketch here shows the basic idea. What I'm going to have is the character in this game, if you like, is going to be called a puck because he's plucky and he moves around the screen like a little hockey puck. And basically it's going to move using the WASD keyboard commands, and I'm going to have a background graphic drawn behind the puck with the walls drawn on that, and basically I'm going to check on that graphic whether the puck is allowed to move there or not. There are probably better ways to do this, but this is one that's really easy for people to understand when they're first starting out, which is why I'm going to show it to you as the starting point. We might get further, we might do some fancier graphics, but for now it's going to be pretty simple. Just to show you also, this is the graphic that I'm going to create that I have created of the rooms. So these are the rooms that the puck is going to be able to move into or out of, and we'll load that into the sketch as well. Okay, so let's get started. I've created a new sketch in the P5JS online editor, and I need to create a class for this puck. So sketch, add file, and I'm going to call it puck.js. And you should see that if you open your project folder, there's a new file created there, and that's where we're going to create the puck. Before I do anything else though, always good at this point to remember to link it to your sketch. So just copy that line 12 and change sketch.js to puck.js. Whoops. Alright, so now in puck.js I'm going to define the class. So I use the class keyword, then the name of the class, and then curly brackets. And everything in between these curly brackets is what defines what a puck is. The first thing we need is the constructor function. And I guess it's going to take an X and a Y position and probably a width and a height. And all I'm going to do is copy those arguments into the object that's just been created. So I say this.x equals x, this.y equals y, this.w equals w, and this.h equals h. Now the next thing we'll need is a show function just to show the puck onto the canvas, and it's going to be pretty simple. Really all I'm going to have to do is draw a rectangle wherever that puck is. In fact, I think there's a square function, but anyway, the rectangle function will do fine for this. This.x, this.y, this.w, and this.h. Okay, that's enough for the puck to start with. Let's create a puck and test that the class is working. So let p equals new puck, and I'm going to draw it at width over 2, height over 2, with a width and height of 10. And then what I want to do is say p.show. So there it is in the middle of the screen. Okay, now I'm just going to open up this file and get just refresh my memory of what the actual dimensions of this file are. So it's 600 by 400. So that's going to be the background of my page. So I basically want of my canvas, so I want the canvas to be the same size. So I'm going to set the canvas size to be 600 wide and 400 high. And I'll go ahead and upload that rooms.png graphic. And I'm going to create that as a variable called background, function preload, bg equals load image rooms.png, and then I'm going to say, oops, not in setup, image bg at 0, 0 with width and height as its width and height. Let's check that that's working. Yep, so we can see the image is drawn in the background, and I think that my puck is a little bit too small, so I'm going to make it 20 wide and 20 high. And the other thing that you can probably see is that, a bit like the second in the collision detection video that I made, the XY position of that rectangle that I draw is the top left corner. And really in this one I want to think about that as being the center of the square. So I'm going to change that. I can do, yeah, probably the quickest way for me to do that is to say rect mode center. That will fix it. And you can see it's better lined up now on the screen. So that's good. Now let's make the puck move when we press the keys on the keyboard. So function key pressed. Now I'm just going to fill in the key pressed function with sort of a skeleton. So if key equals W, then I want it to move up. Else if key equals A, move left. Else if key equals D, move right. And then else if key equals S, move left. Now you notice I used else if even on the last one there on line 27. I could have just written else, right? So it would do WAD for up, left and right. But if I just had else there, any other key, if it was the space bar or the X key, anything else would be moved down, and I don't really want that. I only want the S key to be the one. So that's why I used else if on that last statement. So that's the skeleton of the key press function. Let's think about how we're going to ask the puck to move left, right, up or down. Now there's a few ways I could do it. I could make a function on the puck class, like one function called up, one function called left, one function called right, one function called down. Or I could make a function that's more general purpose, a function called move. So I could say move and then give it two arguments, an amount to move in the X direction and amount to move in the Y direction. And I think that's probably the simplest way to do it. So if I go into puck.js and create a new function called move, and it's going to take two arguments, so amount in the X and amount in the Y. And basically what I'm going to do is just add those amounts to the X and Y positions. So this.x plus equals amount X, and this.y plus equals amount Y. And now from the main sketch, to move up, what do I have to do? I have to decrease the amount of Y, right? I have to go like minus 10 in the Y direction. So p.move, I'm not moving in the X direction, I'm only moving in the Y direction, so minus 20 in the Y direction. That's the size of the puck. Left is going to be sort of similar, but it's only moving in the X direction. So p.move minus 20 in the X direction, 0 in the Y direction. And right is going to be p.move 20 in the X direction, 0 in the Y direction. And moving down is p.move 0 in the X direction, positive 20 in the Y direction. All right, so now that should have our puck moving around. There it goes. And it's moving around on the screen. Okay, so I've done the first part of this example, which is basically creating my little puck class and loading in that background. What I want to do next is to check that a move like that is not allowed. So I want to stop that from happening. So I'll do that in the next video. In the meantime, you could have a think about different ways that you could implement that. Maybe try and do it yourself before you watch the video. Otherwise, when I come back, I'll do that. So happy creative coding, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with based on this example.